guys, welcome back to Let's Play Chrono Trigger. Last time we struggled to get a semi-decent score in the bike race. And then we made it to Protodome, where we found Robo. Since then we've left Luca behind and brought Marley with us as we attempt to turn the power back on so we can open the door and try and get out of here. And if I sound a little different, that's because after last time I died. And by I died, I mean I've been sick for about a week, and it sucks. So if you, hear a little difference in my voice, or the odd sniffle here or there that I can't edit out, my apologies. But we're back at it. We're going to take on Acid once again. We've switched up our settings a little bit so that Chrono will be on autopilot for the next little bit here. Hey, there's critical. Now, the thing with the acid type enemies is they're somewhat random in terms of the amount of damage you can deal to them. Like, sometimes, you'll get a critical hit, and ooh, we learned a new tech. Look at that. You can, get a critical on it and do, 4 damage and have, a normal hit by someone with the same attack power, and they'll only do, 3? Or maybe they'll even do more. Maybe they'll do 5. It's really weird. You can always bypass these guys by splitting, going here, and then going up like that. But if you want to fight them, you can. These ones will respawn every time you come back to the screen, so just kind of be aware of that. So one thing with getting sick is I always regret having to edit any of my episodes after that, because however many times I'm gonna have to, cough or sneeze or anything like that. And I'm editing and editing and editing and editing, trying to make it sound at least mostly normal. Lab area to the left, factory area to the right. Do not turn off the conveyor belt in the factory. The security system will activate and you'll be in danger. Okay, good to know. Now, if we go down here, it'll automatically switch us to go down. There's a save point in the second screen of the dungeon? It seems kind of weird. Oh, hello. Well, there's a shelter. And there's a bunch of these guys. Now, the tech we learned I'm not going to use quite yet because it doesn't really matter. Now, here we have alkaline to pair with the acid. Now, I think it's just a clever way of setting it up. But if you attack one of them and they are in the presence or at least close enough to one of the opposite ones, they have a chemical reaction and they'll deal a bunch of damage to you. Aura Beam here is a multi-targeted healing tech that uses Cure Beam and Aura, and it heals the whole party. So now we no longer need to have Chrono around to be able to make sure that we get the right damage. See, now I've targeted this one, and a critical only did 2, and a normal attack did 5. This is what I was trying to mention a moment ago, and there's a great example of that. These guys just have a very wide range in damage, and sometimes it does a lot better than others. It's just kind of how these guys work. There's normal attack, single attack doing 4, and that one did 10. They have the same attack power, and Chrono, well, Chrono's got the Berserker, so it's doing a little bit more damage. And we learned Laser Spin, and we learned Rocket Roll as a dual tech. Combine Cyclone and Laser Spin there. So now we can keep coming down here, but we can't actually finish a lot up. If you continue to go along the bottom here, you will keep running into new enemies. They're just more alkalines or acids. But if you actually move up a little bit, I'll demonstrate here when we get out of the battle. Like if you run along up here instead, you won't run in. Okay, make a liar out of me. Maybe it's coming down here earlier on, because normally, in order to progress through this area properly, you're supposed to go to the right first. I've only come down here just to see how far we can get. And I guess technically you could probably do this whole thing now. There's one battle in here that I almost never get. Where is it? There we go. That one is, for me, is just extremely difficult to trigger. I remember running into this fight, you know, years after I played the game for the first time, and I was like, there's a battle here? Doesn't matter how many times I did this as a kid, I can never find that battle. I believe there's also a battle around here. I could be wrong about this one. I'm not 100% sure here. Ah, there is one here. Okay, good. I wasn't wrong. Now, the downside to having a character on the Berserker is you can't use any of their dual tech. So even if I happen to get this set up when Chrono's turn is up here, so Chrono's turn is up, but he enters his commands automatically and instantly, so there's no way to get any dual techs in. So that's one kind of downside to using the Berserker, but the increased damage you get is usually more than makes up for it. If you look at that, Chrono only did 1 damage, Semi does 2 damage. Wow, these guys have a lot of defense today. And then there's 5 damage. And there's 1 damage. Completely all over the map. This area was, I don't know, it was always weird when I was a kid. I don't think I liked this one. Yeah, see, the laser beams are blocking off the elevators, so we don't have access to those. We come over here earlier, we get a hammer arm and a Titan's Vest. Titan's Vest can go on Chrono there to give him a bunch more damage, and the hammer arm increases Robo's attack power. That's nice. Now, if we open up this guy, Robo will do his thing, beating his chest to interact with things there, and defense lasers are off. And it will spawn I think it's a random assortment of these enemies. And normally, the best way of dealing with them is typically with normal attacks, but I do want to show off using something like Laser Spin against them as well. Now, this will be a lot more useful against enemies that don't have these massive amounts of physical defense. In fact, Chrono Cyclone is actually quite useful in a fight like this. But yeah, just so you can kind of tell, using a magic-based attack against these guys really isn't the best way to go about things. But yeah, just because we have something that targets everyone doesn't mean it's always the best choice. I actually didn't get a lot of attacks in, considering this fight can sometimes go quite wrong. I'll take it. There we go. So we turn the defense lasers off, which opens up this one, which gives us access to the elevator. There's also a set of stairs over here, and this would be lasered off as well. And you can go all the way up to the end here, and here's the computer. Door lock system Zabby operational. Enter the password. I don't know what the password is, so I just press a random button. Now, I do know what the password is, but I should go and explore and show you how you're supposed to figure this out. So now we're at the base layer. You can use the elevators to go up and down. We do only go up. This is the basement there. And there's the save point there if you so desire to use it. So we'll go down here and then split the uprights, and you can avoid that fight. Now, it is worthwhile going through the rest of this area, even if you already kind of know what you're doing. Let's go up here into the darkness, go over to the right, face up, and okay, face to the right. Sorry, my bad. And there's a mid-ether hidden in there. Let's go down these ladders here. Oh, there's an oil drum in the way, or some kind of a drum anyway. Over here. What do we got over here? A rope? Oh, I'm not sure what that was. It's like I started yawning in the middle of a sentence. There's a robin bow there. Little more damage there. The other item that we got, I believe I can show it if we go down here. Where did I get this? The plasma gun. This one, unfortunately, well, this is for Luca. It inflicts stop on machine enemies, which you would think would be beneficial, but as you saw where we got it was at that computer. That's kind of the end of the dungeon, so unless you take the long way around of duplicating going there twice, which is what I'm going to do here, you don't really get this early enough for it to really be of a lot of use. So it's nice, it's a good idea, but based on the placement of it, it's kind of useless. Now here, I might have made that. If you run into the enemies on the conveyor belt, you will get grabbed by the claw and thrown into something that we will eventually see a little bit later on. Let's duck in here. The side characters don't matter. It's just whether it runs into Chrono or not, whether it triggers. Okay. Get on here and... Nope. I gotta wait. There's two different sets of guys. There's the two that are close together, and there's two that are further apart. And after the two that are close like that go, you have just enough time to sneak down here as long as you don't get caught on things. And there's the ether. And nope. Well, you know what? You can make it over there, and I'll demonstrate it here. But you can make it to this one and drop down here if you want. This is where we're supposed to go. Takes us down here. I'm going to show you what happens if you run into that, because that's also kind of important. We get dropped on the other conveyor belt. And, well, we get thrown into a gauntlet. Hey, that hurt. These guys tackle me. And they have a decent amount of HP. As you can see, these are Proto 3 instead of Proto 2. They've got more powerful robots here. So you do want to be careful. Now, because this is a gauntlet, this is a decent place to get a little bit of experience if you want to. And as a kid, I would cycle through this and do this like 3 or 4 times when I would play. Cyclone is a very good choice to use around here. Well, I guess Laser Spin's not particularly useful once Chrono knocks out the 2 side guys right away. But otherwise, using Laser Spin when you have to run into a whole bunch of enemies can be valuable. We'll have another shot to show it off here. And I think Marley needs a little bit of healing. Get a bunch of tech points, which are quite nice. Of course, only Robo is benefiting from them at the moment, but oh well. And the battle with 5. Yeah, Chrono, for whatever reason, seems to get his turn really quickly. So, Chrono, would you stop annihilating everybody so fast? I can't show off how good Laser Spin is if you keep doing that. But yeah, Laser Spin hits all enemies on the field. I think last time I said it's the first multi-targeted attack we get. Not technically true, it's just the first all-targeting attack that we got. And it's shadow-based damage, even though it's kind of hard to explain. There's Robo's critical, which looks awesome. But yeah, so like it's shadow-based damage. It doesn't say on it that it's shadow-based damage, but if you've looked into the code or read an algorithm's fact or whatever, it'll tell you that it is indeed shadow-based. At least I don't think it shows. Yeah, it just says Laser Spin all enemies. The next attack we can learn there is Robo Tackle, so we're going to be on the lookout for that. Use Aura to top everybody up for HP here. So yeah, this is kind of how you're designed to get to here. I think you can thread the needle through these guys if you do it, well, but they're usually moving so randomly that it's hard to do, and I never really bothered. I just usually come in here and use Cyclone. But if Chrono's, of course, berserk, that's not going to happen. You do 0 damage to me. You guys suck. They don't have a lot of HP. They're just bugs. Real easy to take those guys down. You do get a heal from them. I think they can inflict sleep, if I remember correctly. They have like a hypnosis type attack. Then we can go over here. Get a mid-tonic. Here, we have access to another one of these in between the other one that we saw earlier. And if we go in there, we'll learn something, but let's go in here first because it gives us a little bit of extra information. Some money and a mid-ether. Hey, well, I guess those guys don't want to fight us. Let's play around with the computer and see if it gives us some information. Crane control codes, 00 and 01, XA and BB. Oh, hello. If you're not moving, you can bypass them, but I'll fight them all the same. You can, of course, as I was demonstrating. Whoa! I don't know what that did because you're a little too close, but yeah, you can avoid these guys altogether if you so desire. It's not all that difficult to do. Just don't be moving when they happen to run past you. Way to go, Chrono. Doing all the damage. I love how Chrono's normal attack with the Berserker is more than Marley's critical without. That's crazy. You do not have to get those codes in order to use them. If you already know the codes, you don't have to worry about that. And typically I don't. You can avoid these guys too if you want. But we'll fight them. Why not? Some of the enemies will align to a specific spot at the start of battle, and others, as we saw with the previous fight, will just be wherever they happen to be at that given time. So it's entirely up to you how, or well, I guess it's not really up to you. It's just certain fights you can set up and be prepared for and know you can use like a specific attack to hit multiple enemies, and some fights you just have to kind of set them up yourself. It all comes down to knowing which ones are like that and which ones are like the former. Marley's getting beat up today. We brought in Robo. He was supposed to be the tank guy here. He's got all this defense, all this HP. Yeah, this turns into a little bit of a gauntlet here. Yeah, see, their laser attacks are also on the line, and sometimes it'll hit multiples and sometimes it won't. It's kind of weird that way. I'm not exactly sure how that works, but... Alright. So you go here and you approach the crane, use any two of the A, B, X, Y letters after the beat. So there's XA. And what this does is the crane will grab the barrels that were in our way, and it will move them. Apparently they only have 2 codes just to remove the 2 barrels that happen to be in our way. That's cool. After doing the first code, you have to move down in order to approach the thing again. There's no confirm afterward, it's just XA and BB. And then we wait for the very slow crane to do its job. The funny thing is that the wire that should be holding this thing is so thin that it's apparently invisible. It's just a floating claw. And once it's done that, it gets those... Oh, I meant to bypass that. I meant to slide through them, but it didn't work. So, there's that. So this one's out of the way, so we can go up here now. And here, we get a bolt sword. If you didn't go into the sewers, this is where you would get it now. And talk to the computer. Last defense lock is the code name Zabby, translation XABY. It's pretty straightforward. XABY. So now we know the code that we could have inputted right from the get-go, yeah, so there's that. And then we just need to bypass, go all the way back here to the elevator, and go back down the other side. I've already shown you how to do that, so I'll do the rest of this off screen, and I'll see you down there in a moment. Okay, we made it down to the final level there. And from what I recall hearing, in order to input this code, you don't even really need to know it. You just need to hold all 4 face buttons when the sound goes off. So I'm going to try that this time. And it worked. It opened the door. So yeah, you just need to hold your palm on all 4 of the face buttons and you win. It doesn't change every time, so there's nothing to worry about. Huh. There's not really anything to do here. Just throw the switch and we're good to go. So yeah, I guess that's pretty much all the time we have for this one. I guess next time off screen, I'll meet you back over there at the Protodome and... Wait, what? That doesn't sound good. Oh crap. Security system has gone haywire. We must escape. Oh boy. Well, that's pretty much all the time we have for this one. And I'll see you guys next time.